I haven't been out to cut my okra in about 3 days. So when I walked out here today, got a pretty good harvest. It never ceases to amaze me. These little spindly plants down these couple of rows here, they just keep popping off okra. That's a pretty good mess of it right there. What the heck is that? I just landed on my pole right by my swing. I don't even know what that is, but it sure would look just like a tree if it was on a tree. Hi everybody, this is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. As my title kind of suggests for this video, it's been a rough couple of days. I have had a couple of things happen. One of them, my fault. The other one, not my fault. And I want to go ahead and apologize from the get-go. I really can't give the details of either thing. I don't mean to have any kind of a tease in this. I just really can't tell the details. I don't want to hurt feelings. That's just the way I am. I'm not going to come on here and rant and hurt feelings. And another reason is just trying to be circumspect about everything to do with the buying and selling of a house. So I don't want to give too many details. However, I do want to share that things have happened a little bit, and I want to give you my perspective on it. I think with my channel, it's not just about showing you things like gardening or whatever. It's also just about life and kind of things that happen and how you deal with it and how I deal with it. And I do not always deal with things the right way. And this is an example. So 2 things happened Thursday. 2 things. The first one, I guess I got myself into. I needed some extra help. And so went forward with something that, you know how your gut just tells you, run. No, this possibly is not going to work out good. I didn't listen to my gut. How many of us have things happen and you don't listen to your gut? And your gut's there for a reason. Your experiences in life, your ability to kind of judge a situation, you can sometimes know that it ain't good. It's just not going to be good. There's other times people just fool you. People just surprise you. Circumstances happen. Maybe your gut's not just completely in tuned because you're not seeing all the facts. I kind of started out that way with this situation, but then my gut kicked in, my senses kicked in. I'm a pretty good judge of character and stuff. That all kicked in, and it was telling me no. And I went forward anyway, because at the time I justified my inaction to say no. I judged my decision to do that by saying, you just need some extra help right now. You need some extra help to give you a little leg up. Well, go with your gut. Go with your gut, because it's never helpful to have a leg up when it's causing you anxiety, when it's costing you money, when it's wasting your time. How is that a leg up? But that's what I did to myself. And that's the point of example number 1 of something happening this week that was my fault, is I'm going to take full responsibility for it. It was my fault. I should have said no. I should have gotten myself out of a situation, and I didn't. I just didn't. I went forward with it even when everything in my gut was telling me no. So what I ended up doing, it could have gotten worse because there was different things I really needed some extra help with, and I extricated myself after the first little thing, and the other 2 things that I needed are just they're going to get done another way. so I'm out of that situation now. But what I learned from it all is I was more mad at myself than at the situation. It took me a little while to figure that out. At first, I was just mad at the situation, and I was mad at how things were going. And then I realized, you're getting what you pretty much let yourself get into. It's your fault. And I can get mad at myself about things, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Sometimes, this self-flagellation is not good, because you might just be beating yourself up when you really don't need to be bringing yourself down. But sometimes you need a little kick in the butt. And I have come to the conclusion that I got exactly what I deserved. I got exactly what I deserved. I was even kind of asking myself, dear Lord, why am I in this? Why has this happened? What are you trying to teach me from this? Why did this happen? And I figured out it happened because I let it happen. And there wasn't really a big teaching from God in it about the situation itself. I think the teaching from God in it for me, and what I'm taking away from it, is, are you going to let this happen again? Are you going to ignore your gut all the time? And I may do things again, because you're human beings, and we make mistakes. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh no, I've learned my lesson and that's it. But I'm going to try to say that. I'm going to try to think that, because I need to do that. I'm the decision maker in this house now, and I can't afford to make bad decisions, especially make them over and over again. I can't afford to ignore my gut and to move forward with things that could possibly financially hurt us. Not possibly, pretty much did. And I can't afford to ignore my gut and have people around me that I don't want around me, that I just had a bad feeling about. So I made the mistake. It was all me. There was no poor Lainey, this just happened to her. It was my fault. and there it is. And I'm going to take full responsibility for it. And if I'm going to be the decision maker in this household, and if I'm going to be the one that is in charge of doling out the funds when we need things or whatever, I better shape up. I better not be quite so nice. I'm a nice person. I think that's what the problem was, is I didn't want to forcefully get myself out of a situation. And I was a little bit worried too. I was thinking ahead to possible security things later, and I just kind of went, okay, let me make this as pleasant as possible until it's done. And then, I really could have been a lot more forceful and just got myself out of it. I cannot afford to be so nice anymore when it comes to big decisions for our life. I don't do people wrong. I don't lie to people. I work very, very hard, and I would give 100% for people. And I kind of, when you do that, you kind of almost expect that that's just how it is, that's how it's supposed to be. And not everyone's like that. And some people just can't be like that. They just don't know how to be like that. And they're just not. And if your gut tells you, this is a situation where they're not, this is a situation where it's going to be bad, this is a situation where you need to go left and you're going right, listen, just listen. I'll give my advice generically so that it'll encompass any problem that might come up in your life. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. Your gut's based on your experiences, your intuition. It's based on your learnings in life of people and places and time that all don't mean a thing when you're in the moment, but they're inside you, and they come out in those feelings you get. They come out in that I don't know, kind of voices that you start hearing when you start to wonder whether this is not good. And if you feel those things, if you hear those things, listen. That's all I want to say about incidents number 1, is just listen and run. Get yourself plan B, and don't be embarrassed to get plan B. I don't care if you're a woman like me that is just trying to negotiate something. I don't care if you're a man that just thinks they know everything. You can get taken, and you can get disappointed, and you can just be rolled over. So no, just say no. just say, I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's my lesson I'm teaching myself, is it's my fault. It's all up to me. And I let myself down this time. I really did. Now, the incident's number 2, not my fault. And I'm so sorry. I can't just tell you all the details of that either. But just say this. I got home late in the evening from the day I had where my gut was telling me to extricate myself from a situation, and I had not done it. So I got home that evening feeling nauseated. I'll be honest with you, I was nauseated. I was mad at myself. I was just mad at the situation, and came home, and then something happened here which had nothing to do with the other situation. And I was like, oh no. More money out the window. Oh no, more time lost, more time wasted. And put it this way, I went to bed that night, really not till 1 o'clock in the morning. I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning, packing boxes just to keep myself busy, because I knew that if I went to bed, I couldn't even shut my eyes. I couldn't think. It was just, I was just keyed up. I think I was keyed up. I think everything that I've been going through lately, and all the decisions I've had to make, and everything, and all the self-doubts, and all the goods and bads and uglies, they all just kind of come together at some point into this big whirling, this swirling of emotions. And when those nights hit, you either have to just say a prayer that you can just conk out and not deal with it, or you end up in this turmoil. And I kind of let myself get in that turmoil by Thursday night. Now, what happened at my house was something needed repair, big time. It was not a problem that was aware to me at all. And so when it occurred, it needed repair big time before the coming week and everything. I'm so sorry that I really can't explain it, but it wasn't a system in my house that would be affecting the buyer or anything, but it was just something that needed repair quick. Now that's where this story kind of changes pace, because yes, day 13 and day 12 were kind of just a roller coaster for me emotionally. 13 is when everything kind of went down, and I went to bed that night feeling in complete turmoil. Day 12, I woke up and part of my burden was lifted. The repair issue, I'm going to tell you about that in a second. The other part had not been lifted, so I still had to finish out what I started because I couldn't get myself out of it at the time, and so I had to finish that. So I was still partially stomach ached, but the other part was starting to resolve. And I will tell you, yes, there are some people in this world we don't want to deal with, and there's some people that disappoint us, and there's some people that shouldn't be doing things for others because they're not really great at it. But there are other people who are fantastic and who are wonderful. So how part of it got resolved was that night after the incident at my house happened, I called a friend of ours who is a contractor, and he's a good person, and I just said, I need some help. Can you suggest somebody to call, or can you help me with this situation? And he was so calm. He was like, oh yeah, you need to call so-and-so. He'll help you. And he said, call him between 6:15 and 6:30 tomorrow morning, see what his schedule is, and see if he can help you. And so I did. I took all the information. He told me to take some pictures and everything, so I did. And I fully intended to call the man, but it's just I went to bed that night still with nothing resolved in my, I hadn't called him yet and couldn't call him till the next morning. So that was why I had so much turmoil that night, is because I didn't really have any resolution. And everything I've gone to do lately with this house, whether it's appraisals, inspections, just anything, it could just be anything, it seems to be a week later. We can come in a week. We can come 7 days from now. We can come 3 days from now, 5 days from now, but nobody can ever really come quick. So I was fully anticipating that this issue that I needed to get resolved very quickly was going to drag out over a week. And I think that's what was driving me crazy. But I called the man the next morning, and he was so nice. And he said, oh, well, if you're a friend of so-and-so's, I'll come. And he said, I'll come at 9 o'clock this morning because I have an opening, and I'll handle it for you. And I told him everything, and he said, don't worry about it. He said, I'll handle it. And he gave me a price. I had to pay him and everything. But his price was reasonable. For what he did, it was reasonable. It was so reasonable. And then when he got there, I was so excited because he actually got there and he had his daughter. I don't know if she's late teens or early 20s, but she wasn't old. But she's learning the trade with her dad. So she and he got out of the truck. We all talked, and they were just great people. People I didn't mind coming in my house. And they just took over. They just handled it. They got to work. They went over and above, just way over and above what I ever even expected. I figured toward the end I was going to have to, do some little manual labor to finish the job. They didn't. They were like, no, that's what we're here for. We'll do it. And they did. And less than 24 hours later, it was completely fine. Everything was fine. And I want to say that as much as I was complaining at the beginning of this video of a gut-wrenching thing, I need to give them full credit for just grabbing this burden that had been dumped in my lap and taking over and just fixing it. And they did a wonderful job. I texted them, I just left them here. I trusted them completely. I left them here. They did the job. And when I got home that night, I was so excited. It looked so good. And they did a great job. So there's good people in this world. There's fantastic people. And I don't want to ever forget that. But lessons learned in life, there's things that happen no matter what, good, bad, or otherwise. Things happen, things you don't expect. So try to always have some type of little slush fund so that you can handle things in a timely manner. I see so many houses in a lot of places just deteriorating. Even in nice neighborhoods, they're just deteriorating sometimes because things don't get addressed quickly. People don't have extra money a lot of times to fix things, and that can be detrimental to your home. I know how that is. We're not rich or anything like that, but luckily we've been able to have enough money to do things we need to do and to try to keep things up and to be able to sell this property. And I've been able to do what I need on the other end at Hilltop Home Place and to try to get things going. Now, we're not rich. You have to have a budget, and you have to have expectations of what you're going to spend, and you have to be responsible. And that's what I didn't do with that other situation. And that's what made me so madder at myself than anything. But there's also things like the other situation that happened where this contractor stepped in, ethical, above board, mature, and got it done. He and his daughter got it done, and they did a great job. So I'm gonna be heading up to Hilltop Home Place in a little bit. I have taken charge of with my friend Mel and Ray. I want to give them credit too. I don't care how many times I mention them. They have helped me so much. And my son and I met at a lumber yard today. He had the trailer, and he picked up the plywood that's going to go on the bed of the trailer, of the 18-wheeler container. We're going to put plywood so the flooring will be secure. I don't want to be walking around in there and go through a hole. And so we're going to secure the plywood on the floor. I did look, and the leak that was in the ceiling that was causing the plywood that was up in the ceiling to rot, it's just a little hole about like that big, and it looks like probably a limb went through there at some point. And so that's gonna be pretty easy to fix. We're just gonna, to be honest with you, I'm gonna go to the hardware store in a minute. I'm probably looking at getting some type of Flex Seal stuff that'll do a hole like that, but also I'm gonna ask them at the hardware store if there may be some type of patch situation, one of those kind of tar-like patches I might put on first or whatever. I'm gonna talk to them when I go. But there's a lot of men that work there that are really good, and they help me with anything I need when I go in. So why not let them tell me? They've probably done it before. So I'm gonna fix that. We're gonna put the plywood on the floor, and then I've got a little system in my mind, I think, for building like a little frame within a frame to set in there that I could hang tools on and all. But I'll show you that as we go. Not a lot to show you as far as activity right now. It's been a lot of running around. A lot of receipts are shoved in my console of my car. Just a lot of picking up and a lot of hauling and meeting people. So I don't want to put people on film that are uncomfortable with that. So just doing the things you need to do to get from point A, which is our home here, to point B, which is Hilltop Home Place. So this is Lainey at Camp Joy Farms, soon to be Hilltop Home Place. I thank you for listening to me today. I hope you got something out of it. Be strong. Don't be a weak person like I was today. Be strong. When you think about it, it's okay to be nice. It's okay to be a gentle person. It's okay to be kind and loving. And it's okay to treat people how you would want to be treated. That's what God wants us to do. But having some strength and some backbone is not a bad thing. And that's not an unchristian thing. That's okay. But if you think about it, when God wanted somebody to wrestle with the angel, he didn't pick a weak person, a little sweet, kind, nice, meek person. He picked a strong person with some street cred, with some a little bit of a little ferociousness backbone to him. He picked Jacob. I want to be a little bit more like Jacob, and I think that God needs me to be a little bit more like Jacob if I'm going to handle the things of this household. And I'm taking that away as my lesson. So if you're in that situation, man or woman, no matter what your situation is in the world with your spouse, or whether you're alone or taking care of parents or whatever you're doing, don't be afraid to take care of your family and your business. Don't be afraid to maybe kindly but gently, with some compassion, tell someone no, thank you, I appreciate it, but no. Don't be afraid of doing that, because it's important. It's important for your own self to be strong. And that's what I'm going to take away from this. And I appreciate the lessons in life. I appreciate it. And I'm trying to learn from it and not make mistakes anymore. Thank y'all so much. Bye-bye.